Is kissing cousins your favorite game? Then you should read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And one question before we get to the review: did I enjoy this read? And the answer is yes. Welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm your host, Captain Mike, and I'm reading and reviewing 52 books in 52 weeks in 2023, including the 50 greatest books of all time as determined by an algorithm. And this is the fourth greatest book of all time and my 47th book review of this year so far. So before we get to the book, let's talk about the author. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Colombian novelist and short story author. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature in 1982, and this is one of the two books from South American authors that I'm reading this year. He was born in 1927 and passed away in 2014. Quick specs and stats on the book. It was published in 1967 in Buenos Aires, has been translated into 46 different languages, and has sold over 50 million copies. My copy has 422 pages, and I did not listen to this at all on Audible, and it was translated by Gregory Rabassa. Okay, on to the style of 100 Years of Solitude. He uses both third person, first person, and stream of consciousness type narratives. Magical realism. Interestingly enough, the other book that I read from a South American author this year also dealt with magical realism. Mirrors, time, ghost. The magical elements are woven into the story in a way that they seem almost ordinary or expected without any kind of fanfare. Solitude. Macondo is a fortress of solitude. Each Buendia lives in solitude, sitting in their bedrooms, sitting in workrooms, mute in convents, sent overseas by themselves, or blind. Mirrors is a big theme. Macondo reflects the world around it in South America and specifically Colombia. Okay, on to the characters real quick. And at the beginning of the book, there is a genealogy tree. And I would suggest that before you begin reading the book, dog-ear that page or put a sticky note on it so you can get to it quickly. I found myself oftentimes referring to that throughout the read. And other than the main Buendia family, some other characters do marry into the family or help to propagate its bloodline. And the gypsies with Melquiades, if I'm saying that correctly, they are all central to the plot. And speaking of the plot, let's get to it. 100 Years of Solitude is the rise and fall of the fictional town Macondo, told through the Buendia family. Jose Arcadio Buendia and his wife Ursula, his first cousin, have to leave their hometown when Jose kills a man at a cockfight who suggested that he is impotent. So he founds the town Macondo by a river that they find in their wanderings. Macondo is basically isolated from the rest of the world except for a band of gypsies that visit the town occasionally, led by Melquiades. A magistrate appears. Rigged election happens. Railroad comes to town, closely followed by the banana company. There is a slaughter, prosperity, tragedy, denial. From the OG Jose to the very short-lived seventh generation, the Buendia's family's fortunes mirrors that of Macondo, and by the end of the novel, they are both withering and dying. And that's a short synopsis of the plot. On to my thoughts. And this year, for the most part, I've been reading about the books before turning the first page. But for some reason with this one, I just didn't do that and started reading. I enjoyed the plot lines, the story. It was a crazy ride. You do want to have that bloodline chart available. The plot moves at a rapid pace and something happens on every page. And after just finishing my last Tolstoy, it was refreshing reading a book with less characters and less detail. There is almost no mention of time or distance. No fleshing out of location or character beyond what's necessary. And this lack gives it a dreamy quality that I think is appropriate to the story. Magical realism. Do I like it? Two more books that I read this year, Midnight's Children and Collected Fictions by Borges, were not to my liking. 100 Years of Solitude, however, is a superior work that I did enjoy. And I do understand that there's history and culture about and from South America that's symbolized here in the book that just escapes me because of my life history. But the tale of the rise and fall, self-destruction really, of families and cultures is as old as time and familiar to any reader. Is this really the fourth greatest book of all time? I'm not sure about that, but I do believe it deserves to be on this list. Senor Marquez, he wrote a tragedy that deserves to be read, and it's a cautionary tale for the entire state of Alabama. Okay guys, that's it, and on to my star rating. I judge all books on 5 criteria. 6 if I listened to it on Audible, and I didn't listen to this at all on Audible. So here we go. Initial response, how do I feel as soon as I finish the book? And I got a 3. Recommendation, how likely am I to recommend the book? Also a 3. Style, did I enjoy the writing style? Also a 3. Plot structure, how engaged was I in the story? And I got a 4. And characters, were they believable, relatable, engaging? Also a 4. That's 17. And 17 divided by 5 is 3.4. So 3.4 stars for 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Alright guys, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to see more of my content. I'm doing 52 book reviews in 52 weeks in 2023. The name of the channel is called Whiskey and Literature. I also do some whiskey reviews. If you're into that, then feel free to look at my channel and check those out. But for now, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Cheers.